What's going on, guys? It's Brandon from Audio Addiction. If you have been staying up with me on early Halloween, thank you for hanging out. Much appreciated. If not, if you were watching this in the past, then it'll look very dumb, and I apologize. So anyway, I just finished doing a live review, live reaction of Fit for a King's newest album, The Hell We Create. So if you haven't checked that one out, would highly recommend checking out that video. It was very cool, very fun. As well as that, this one I was very excited for as well. I've been hearing a lot of good things about the Gloom in the Corner. They are a metal band from Australia. I believe it is Melbourne. So I'm very excited to get into this. I know Sharp Tone has been absolutely killing it recently with bands that they've signed. And this one I was very intrigued to check out. I kind of reserved myself from not listening to any of the songs, so I have no idea what they're going to sound like, but very excited to not only get into the entire album, but very excited to see what this is going to sound like as well. If you do hear meowing right now, my cat is currently being a little nerd, and you need to chill out, buddy. Okay. There you go. Goodbye. Anyway, yeah, he's a goofball. But besides the point, very excited to get into this. If you guys have listened to the album, let me know in the comments or the live chat. Much appreciated. But yeah, I have no idea what this band sounds like, what this album is like, so we're going to be getting through all of it and going to be listening to all of it. So hopefully you enjoy. Links will be in the description to go pick up Trinity. It is out now. It came out on Friday, so very excited to give this a listen. And yeah, let me know what your favorites are from Trinity. This had a ton of features on it, so I try to do my best of notating whose project they're a part of, as well as just any sort of other tidbits I wanted to include. So we're going to move into the first track, which is From Heaven to Hell. I did read up that this album, I believe, is a concept album, which is also very cool and only adds to my intrigue for this record. So we're going to get into the entirety of Trinity. If you're able to provide me with more information about the Gloom in the Corner, I would love to know. If Gloom in the Corner, if you're watching this, I'd love to have you on the channel for an interview, so feel free to message me. Would love to have you on. But we're going to get off on the first track, which is From Heaven to Hell, and we're going to give it a listen. This one also doesn't have a feature on it, just by the way. So let's give it a listen.
Let me paint you a picture. Death settles in the air, painting the clouds in red. Mercy despair.
All right.
Souls cry out for help. Three souls plunge down from the heavens above, bringing down the sky.
So different. I like the dark undertone to this track. This is so cool. I like this. What the hell? What the hell? This is so sick. Wow, what a... Holy shit. What a rip! Holy shit!
Insane and a noose as a necklace. Make the gala clash.
Oh my god! What the? Okay, I have no idea what this is, but this is great. This is so sick. This is such a sick song. Like, oh my god, this is so cool. Like, I don't understand what is going on with this record, but this is so out there. This is the first song, guys. This is from Heaven to Hell off of the Gloom In The Corner's newest album, Trinity. This was very interesting to start the album off with. As I mentioned, it is a concept record, so I feel like that was like building the storyline. But that kind of like at the beginning, it feels very like it almost has like an avant-garde kind of feel, which is really interesting. It has this real kind of like orchestral, like almost feels a little bit like Broadway-esque, you know, like it has this kind of like je ne sais quoi to it, you know. And not only the fact that their vocalist does the clean singing, but also does the screaming, unreal. Like the range of this guy, I don't even know his name, so I do apologize, but the range of this band is insane. And literally the first track that I listened to, just wild, unreal band. I have a feeling I am in for a treat on this entire record. And hopefully it doesn't, hopefully we're able to listen to the whole thing. I don't know. I hope that Sharp Tone's a little bit chiller on that, but by far one of the wildest tracks I think I've listened to all year. And I can only imagine that the rest of this album is going to be just increasingly insane. I loved the transition from that real, again, orchestral sort of sound to just an absolute like heavy riff, which was really tight. And the way that those two sounds kind of integrated super well was awesome. Love that. But yeah, overall, this one right out the gate was amazing. So definitely give this a listen if you haven't already. I'm also going to record this just in case Sharp Tone does not want me to play their music. But yeah, overall, this one was just for not knowing what this band sounds like right out the gate. This song was absolutely nuts. So go give the Gloom in the Corner a listen. I am so stoked to get into the rest of this album. The second track, this one is called Obliteration Imminent. This one features Monique Pym of the band Reclia. I'm pretty sure I pronunciated that terribly, but they're a sick band. How you spell their band name is Reliqa. Fantastic. They put a great EP out. I'd love to have them on the channel as well. Maybe I'll wind up reviewing that as well before the year's over with, but that's also a fantastic album. If you haven't given that one a listen, definitely do it. It's like almost like progressive alternative music. But yeah, Australia, stay winning. But yeah, this one features Monique, and very excited to get into this one. So we'll get into it right now. This is nuts.
Disturbing gags with the destruction of my soul. With every passing day I'm feeling
is oh my god, what the? This is nuts.
I'll keep the promise I kept, and through it all,
Oh, the organs.
I'll orchestrate the end of the
What the fuck is going on? Oh my god. Oh, it's so heavy. The layering on this is wild.
My favorite, the one that took his own life for his brother. With all suffering gone, you're reborn not a man, but a warrior. The deadliest hour is seen.
All right, guys, if you just tuned in, this is track number 2 called Obliteration Imminent. What is I have no fucking idea what is going. This album is literally eviscerating my face off my body. This is I can't. This album, I think this this is gonna, if this is an album of the year for me, all right. We're on track 2, guys. I still have 13. This is a 13 track album. 13 tracks. And I'm on track 2. This is, I can't. Like, this album is so incredibly creative. First of all, the fact that, again, it's a concept album. I don't know how the fuck you write an entire album conceptually, but I mean, this is very cool. I love the integration of, again, the sort of darker, like, organs. I love the, like, dark ethereal nature of this track. I think that was really, again, well put together. The fact that Monica, she does a fantastic job on this track. I love her part because I think the way that they change up everything in this track is just wild to me. Like the different musical change-ups, as well as the way that they integrated Monique into this track. I love the layered vocals. I thought that was very interesting, as well as that just the switch up from just like insane dark screaming to the clean singing reminds me a lot of this band called Reign of Kindo. They're more of a jazz kind of style band, but he has a very similar sort of quality to his vocals, which I absolutely dig. But I can't. This album is going to probably break me live on stream, and I am so ready for it because I have no idea what is going on with this album. Like, this is such a cool experience, and I'm glad hopefully people are enjoying this reaction as well as this album, because this band is doing something completely different from any other band that I've listened to probably all year, and they deserve all the love because this, and I can imagine some people not really digging it because it is so avant-garde, but I think this is so unique and so different. And it's not me trying to like no Johns for real. Like, this is such an incredibly unique album, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of it. But yes, I love the sort of darker, like horror almost aspects to this song. It feels very much like a combination of like really smart orchestral pieces mixed in with some like really heavy guitar work. And then the vocals kind of ride that line between like that very avant-garde kind of styling as well. It almost has this sort of like carnival kind of like circus feel to it in that way, and I hope that is not a diss because it has this, again, this very dark overtone to it. And wow, I can't. And again, huge shout outs to Monica. Reclia is a fantastic band. If you have not given them a listen, another great Australian band. So go give them some love. But yes, this we're on track 2, and I'm broken. I'm a broken man right now. So we're gonna move it on to track number 3. This one is called Ronin, and this one actually features Rio Kinshinada, of the band, formerly of the band Crystal Lake. Big tears. I love Rio. Fantastic screamer, and I can almost be sure that I'll be absolutely eviscerated with this track. So let's get into Ronin, guys.
So it's like demons cower, desperado of hell's flames. This taste will be the death of lies of person. Lost their choice and whatever. Make the wake. They will let loose. Let me show you how God abandoned you. Before I died, I never knew how bad my demons were. Now I'm here, I get to suffer every day with them. I have no reason to stand to my no face. Every single victory is matched with another death face. I may have won the battle, but I fought the war. Encased in a black cloud, I'm lost forevermore. I live with violence embedded in my flesh. When I drop in, you'll scour cowards.
What is going on?
My scars and the cowards. Little do you know, most noble thing I did was off myself. Full of diamonds in my hand, no rest for the people around me. I was so caught up in saving everyone else, I never thought to save myself. My thoughts sound like a whisper, but gosh, lost in the wind. To everyone I've ever lost, to everyone I've let down. Go fuck yourself. I hope you find happiness in the power. I'm above my time, waiting for you all down here. Try to give in to the angel and the queen. When you find a backbone, come join us to reign. Motherfucker, do it. I can't get lower than you.
Oh, so filthy.
In this fucking hell. Every life is worthless. I said I blew my brains and you didn't listen. I bet you feel fucking ashamed now. I was thrown away by the tide and you just watched me
Nice. Yell singing, I like that.
left to me is empty violence. Kill shots. Gotta back in the sun to let you get. Everything dies with mayhem. Loaded double barrel blow you to pieces.
God, what the fuck? Oh.
The innocent one, the deer caught in the crosses. But now demons bow to you, don't they? Queen of the
I can't, guys. Guys, if you're just tuning in, this was track number 3 off of the Gloom in the Corner's newest album, Trinity. I don't. I'm at a loss for words, honestly. This is. I literally I am speechless. I have no. Why have I first of all not heard of this band sooner? And secondly, just when I thought for sure, man, you know what, they're gonna be heavy. You know, this is where they're gonna hit. They're gonna be there's no way they'll go heavier, right? There's absolutely no way they would go heavier. And then they do, and I think this time they broke my spirits. I've been eviscerated. I'm gonna try to collect myself in some capacity. But this one was really cool. Much like the other two songs have been very cool. As a single, I think it does a very good job, because I'm pretty sure this was one of the singles. This does a great job of really giving you an idea of what this band sounds like. I did know that Tuck had posted about them not too long ago, and I feel very dumb for not checking you guys out sooner. I am eternally sorry for that. The Gloom in the Corner, because I legitimately don't know what to say. I think this song was absolutely wild. I love the string section in this track. I think the inclusion of that was, again, very neat, along with just the sort of orchestral elements going on in this song. Just was really cool. Adding Rio into the track was just another just like piece. Like, I feel like their songs are just like the most insane amalgamation of different genres. There's like some metalcore feeling in there. There's some like deathcore elements. There's like, there really isn't a song that I feel like I feel like there is no sound that really encapsulates or how I can properly articulate their sound comparatively to other bands. I think that, again, they take a lot of influences from like theater and the avant-gardeness of bands and that sort of aspect of things. Sorry, my cat is doing some wild shit. Listen, come here. You want to listen? He's gonna join us here for this section. But my God, like, I don't. What do you think, Meatball? What do you think about this band? Yeah, he's speechless too. But yeah, there's something about this song particularly that just, like, again, the heavy moments somehow got heavier, and I don't know how. I legitimately don't know how it got heavier. The like sort of blackened influence is definitely a lot stronger in this track, as well as, again, I don't know who did the arrangements on this song. I don't know who did this entire album, but I have to give them so much credit, because there's a lot going on, and I think for myself as a listener, I'm going to be going back and listening to this multiple different times, because I feel like listening to this album and listening to it live, there are some moments where I feel like I can't fully understand or grasp the depth and layering going on in this particular album. There's something about it that I would be best assumed that every time I listen to this album, there is going to be something different that I'm going to be able to pull from it. There's going to be a different element that I may not have been as familiar with, or there is going to be some heaviness or like underlying aspects of the particular songs on this album that I feel like, man, if I didn't give it more of a listen or put more depth to it, then I probably wouldn't have understand how articulated this album has been thus far, as well as just, again, the brutality of this particular album as a whole. I think they've been doing a good job of including cleans in this album, keeping it interesting not only rhythmically but as well as musically, and I feel like I am so blown away by this band right now, and again feel very disappointed in myself for not checking them out sooner, because this was very cool. So Thus far, I don't have a favorite because they've all kind of just eviscerated me. But yeah, this one was a very good one. So we're gonna move it on to track number 4. This one is called Black Rot. This one is featuring Monica Strutt, and her project is called The Last Martyr. So let's get into Black Rot. I feel like they're gonna hit me on. They're gonna drop me on my neck. Oh my god. Oh, all right, guys. This is track 4 off of. I'm starting to lose it. The Gloom in the Corner's newest album, Trinity. Links in the bio to go pick it up. I am definitely gonna go buy this as soon as we get off the live stream. Unreal. I listen, I had to give all the kudos in the world because I don't know how you put together an album like this. Like, I know I feel like I am just like, I feel like I'm just you know, I feel like I'm just like pandering to them, but legitimately I have listened to countless albums this year. Like, there have been some fantastic bands that have put out some fantastic albums. One that I listen to pretty regularly is the newest Counterparts record. That's fantastic. This, on the other hand, is like so different, you know? And I think the way that, again, they incorporate those orchestral instruments, you know, obviously I know it's not actually, it is probably programmed orchestral instruments, but it still takes time to craft and put together, and I think it works so eloquently with the heavy guitars and the way that the rhythm is balanced out. I thought that was really tight. This one featured, I'd argue, a little bit more clean singing than the previous songs have had. I've loved Monica's inclusion in this track specifically, and I want to give her a shout because that first note she hits in that chorus is got to be up there. Like, it's got to be pretty high up there in terms of register, and the way that she harmonizes with Gloom in the Corner's vocalist in that chorus is so cool, and I love that kind of separation of those two vocal lines, as well as just, again, the heaviness matching with the sort of intrigue of putting everything together. I legitimately would love to see, like, the file for these songs, like, because there's got to be so much layering going on, and I'd imagine a good portion of how long this album took would most likely be from the amount of layering and just kind of the instrumentation of it all. Like, how does it fit with the drumming? How does it fit with the bass work? How does it fit with the guitar work? Like, those are all questions that I imagine they were asking in regards to this album, because it requires so much effort to put all of this together. And again, I can't help but be making the most, like, obnoxious and wild faces because this album thus far has just exceeded what I didn't even really have any expectations, but if there were any expectations, they got nuked, and you know, I am completely gone. Like, this band is probably one of the coolest bands that I have, you know, stumbled upon this year, and again, wild wild album. This is a very wild album. But yeah, I love the continuation of the storyline. I'd love to get more so into the lyrics of this album, because I feel like there's a lot of depth that needs to be found out. But yeah, Black Rot, wild. Monica absolutely smashed it. I don't know if she does any screaming, but that would have been really cool to hear that as well. But yeah, definitely check out this one. Good song to kind of get your toes wet on the Gloom in the Corner. So we're going to move in on to track 5. This one is called New Order, and this one features Taylor Barber of the band Left to Suffer. So give it a listen.
We have no sin to save us. The truth is not in us.
Put that light, God sees no forgiveness. Now did he see me, blood eagle on the cross?
Sheds the blood of man, but man shall his blood be shed.
God made man in his image, will I see our reflection?
And we're looking for Methea.
You thought you'd kill me because you thought you had a chance.
Because the good book said that I'm not your fellow man.
You say what goes around, comes around. You say what goes around, comes around. You say what goes around, comes around. You see what goes around, comes around.
I can't.
You see what goes around, comes around. You say what goes around, comes around.
Going to hell, and I'll see
This is cool. I like this. A little acoustic.
Do you see yourself? Is that why you're scared? Is that why you fight? So you
I can't with this band.
Time has come. The earth has come to push you down.
You say what goes around, comes around. You say what goes around, comes around. You say what goes around, comes around. Going to hell, and I'll see you on the way down. You will go, rise above you. The monsters in the dark, the pages keep the road.
Oh, this is unreal. What the fuck? Oh. What the fuck is going on? Oh, what the fuck? Oh my god. This out. Oh. Guys, if you're tuning in, this is track number 5, New Order. This one features Taylor Barber of the band Left to Suffer. I am so glad I saved all of these songs to react to live on video, because I feel like if I was by myself right now, I would, well, first of all, I'd be freaking out, but this album is wild to me. This is such an incredible record. Like, I think I've been trying to kind of wrap my head around the ideology of why this works so well. And I think mainly why I think I enjoy this record a lot is because thus far, and we're only track 5, and we have 13 tracks. I know there is only 12, but I have to scroll down, which I probably should do just in case. But yeah, I think that they do a great job of hitting a bunch of different genres. I think for myself, like, with some of these others, you know, some of the songs have been, like, again, really heavy, but I think for the essence of this track, while Taylor didn't have, like, a ton of time within the feature, I think he just adds this level of depth and darkness, and as well as that, just his screams are so powerful. And that last breakdown, I might as well have just, like, it might have eviscerated my clothes off my body, you know? Like, it's so nuts. And I think the inclusion of acoustic guitar in this track was very interesting. I like that addition. And the way that the rhythm on this track was a little bit different than some of the other ones. I think that they, I think that some of the other songs had more of a, like, kind of like I don't want to say like a random, but they had a way of incorporating kind of a, like, a tempo change. And I feel like this one, it kind of kept to the same tempo, and, like, again, including that sort of acoustic guitar and adding that sort of flavor into the track was really nice. And I think it did add to that sort of streamlined nature of this track. I think that there wasn't as much changeover, which I do appreciate, but also at the same point, there was just, again, this, like, stupid amount of heaviness to this song particularly. And I know I keep referencing it, but that ending just absolutely hit, and really enjoyed that. I thought that was really well executed, and I think, again, with that sort of angriness of the Taylor in this track, as well as just the overall vibes of the song, I think was really well put together. Each song thus far, I think I've really enjoyed more and more, but the one with Taylor was really good. So give this one a listen. We're only, again, 5 songs in, and I just feel like everything on this particular album has been exceptional stuff. So again, if you hear anybody else, my door's kind of cracked because I have my cat chilling out at the front, and I probably should just shut the door, but maybe I'll do that in a break here. But yeah, New Order, great track. Give it a listen. Very excited. Again, we're like roughly halfway through this album, and I think I've been like just absolutely blown away by the talent of this band thus far. So we're gonna move into track number 6. This one's called Clutch. This one features Amelia Dewfield. It doesn't look like, from what I could gather in terms of information before recording this live, it doesn't look like she has a project as of right now. If not, let me know in the comments or the live chat if you happen to find that out. But very excited to get into this one and give you my reaction to it. So let's get into Clutch. This is track number 6 off of Gloom in the Corner's newest album, Trinity. Links in the bio. Go give it a listen. That was sick. I like that transition. That was super tight.
Take me home, take me home, take me home now.
Oh. Guys, if you're tuning in into my live mental breakdown on Audio Addiction, I do appreciate it. I I legitimately don't. I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, the immeasurable amount of musical talent that goes into crafting a song like this. Again, I know I keep saying it, but legitimately, I have never been so fucking flabbergasted in my entire life that this album has just broken every bone in my body to try to put together some semblance of a sentence and relay it to you guys. This one was yet another great example of just including that sort of dark ambiance to their band. I love the piano in this track. I think it adds, again, that dark layer to it. Reminds me a lot of like Make Them Suffer, another great Australian band if you haven't checked them out. But I think that this is such a wildly insane album, and I love, again, the avant-gardeness. I know that might be a turnoff for most people, just because it is a little bit out there, but I think if you're really willing to immerse yourself in a album like this, you're gonna get so much more out of it. Like, not coming into this band and having any idea of what they made, what type of music they're into, that sort of stuff, that's kind of all thrown out the window in regards to what I really feel about these songs, because legitimately, I'm doing these live reactions and people are probably going to think it's just like overhyped or whatever, but I legitimately have no, like, there's no barometer on what this band does and what they're capable of doing, because they just do there's just something about them and the way that they craft these songs, and they just do it differently. I love the fact that Amelia adds this, again, darker undertone to her singing. She's singing, it sounds like she's singing more in a minor tone, which is very nice. And again, it adds to that sort of creepy, dark element that a lot of these songs bring. But yeah, every time that, again, I think that they get heavier, they somehow one-up me and tell me, like, hey, listen, you think this is going to be a heavier song? Wait until you hear the next one. And then they're going to keep saying the same thing until this album kind of continues on. I'd be more so curious to hear some of the songs that don't have any sort of feature on it, being, I know I did listen From Heaven to Hell that doesn't have a feature on it, and there are 2 other tracks that I think I'm going to be listening to coming up very soon, Behemoth and Gravity. Those don't have a feature on it either. I want to see if they continue the same correlation of just, again, having that sort of dark avant-garde kind of feel to it, but then again having some like deathcore and metalcore elements into their music, as well as just hearing their own vocalist. I'm not saying that these features detract from the entirety of the album, but I will say that they do add a great sort of texture and element to the songs itself, and I like the fact that not everybody is kind of doing the same sort of thing. Like, they're all doing something a little bit different, and each song feels very catered to the different vocalists that they have had on. I'm very curious to check out Red Clouds, which is track number 10. That one has 3 features on it, and that one seems like the one that's probably going to be the most interesting. So I'm very excited to get into that. But yeah, thus far, really have enjoyed all of the songs. As you could very clearly tell, I'm very much into this album collectively. But yeah, I love that element. That beginning at the beginning of the song was very cool. I love the fact that they used, I would imagine, like a motorcycle rev, and then they transposed it into the song, and then you know, the guitars matched up with that. I thought that was really tight, and just, again, a nice little change up from the rest of the album thus far. But yeah, overall, it's been awesome, and I'm glad that I've been able to share this album with you, because God, it's such a cool one. So we're going to move it on to track number 7. This one's called Pandora's Box. I believe this one actually features, and I don't know why I didn't put it. I guess I was being very dumb and rushing through this, but I'm pretty sure that this song, Pandora's Box, features Lauren Babick of the band I Am Red-Handed Denial. They also put out a fantastic album this year, so go give them a listen too. But yeah, overall, I'm excited to get into this one, because I am not to say that I wasn't familiar with some of the other artists, more so being Rio and Taylor, respectively, from their bands. But I'm excited to get into this one because I really enjoy Lauren Babbitt's screaming as well as her singing, so I'm curious if they're going to utilize both of those things, very similarly to Ryan Kirby, who's on track number 12, Gatekeeper. Curious if he's going to be doing some singing as well. But yes, let's get into track 7, Pandora's Box. Let's give it a listen. Oh, nice. All right.
Somewhere in the in-between, I feel the cold clog in my veins. In this lake of
Okay, she's doing cleans. Oh, I love her voice so much.
How am I meant to survive when I feel barely alive? How am I meant to survive when I feel barely alive? The cold seeps deep into my bones. I just want
That's
to
cool. Nice harmony. Woo! All right. Going on in this track. Nice harmonies. Nice run. I like that. That was cool. I like that. That was very neat. Guys, that was Pandora's Box. That was off of the Gloom in the Corner's newest album, Trinity. This one features Lauren Babbitt of the band Red Handed Denial. This one was very good. I also really enjoyed this one a lot. I think Lauren's inclusion in this track was very well put together. I was surprised she didn't do any screaming, from what I could tell. But I love that this one had a lot more singing in it. I think that the Gloom in the Corner's vocalist is so versatile. He has some really great screams, but as well as that, his clean vocals have a real kind of like soul kind of warmth to him, and I really dig that. Reminds me of bands of like, kind of reminds me a little bit of like He Is Legend kind of vibes. Also very similarly to the vocalist Brent of the band Greyhaven. He kind of has that sort of vibe, and then I just like the fact that he's got this sort of warmth and energy to his vocals. I thought that was really cool. But I like that this one isn't too crazy. I like the fact that this one keeps very much to the middle of the road. I don't think that there is anything particularly jarring about the track other than the fact that, the drops on the breakdowns are just filthy. And we love that. But I do appreciate that this one isn't just like another just like insane track, because I feel like after a certain point you get to that, like, I don't want to say fatigue, but you almost get to a point where you're like, okay, yeah, they're doing this crazy guitar part, and then they're adding these really crazy like orchestral pieces in, and then they're doing these like really nuts screaming parts, and I think it almost to a point detracts from the overall vibe of the album, because just too much of a good thing isn't good. I know that saying is probably beaten into the ground, but it really is true. And and this is a nice sort of, I would argue, a nice palate cleanser to the album, because it's directly in the middle roughly, and I don't feel like it leans one way or the other. It does have elements of like the first half of the record, and I'm gonna figure out of whether or not it's gonna have elements of the previous, the second half of the album. But yeah, overall, this one was very fun, nice and heavy, but not heavy where like I felt like I literally is just gonna be eviscerated. So very good track. Lauren does a fantastic job. I will want to point out again, I love the vocal layering in this track. I think the way that Lauren was able to harmonize with herself in that one portion of the song, I believe it's in the bridge, that was very neat, and I think that her voice meshes very well with Gloom in the Corner's vocalist as well, and so overall, very fun track, very good one, and I think a very good utilization of the guest feature on this track. So we're going to move on to track number 8. This one is the first one in quite a bit that does not have a feature on it. This one's called Behemoth, and it may or may not be a behemoth. So we're gonna figure that out now.
I've waited you scream, watched and mourn as you've traveled across my land with desolation and barbaric cruelty. Yet I'm captivated by your burden.
Also, I do really love this aspect of things.
Stay alive. You have kept it from a fate bleaker than death. Commendable. The time has come to pay, and it is I that shall be rewarded by your demise. Of course, shut the fuck up! Hell be thy name!
What the fuck is going on here?
I said I'd never go back. Like your son is being pushed to the point where I fucking snap. Step back, empty the mag. Fuck this shit, kill, I go for the kneecaps. Flying out, we gonna call you.
Is he rapping?
Shoot the message off, fucking shoot back. Take your head to the country, smash like glass.
I thought that chains will cut through you like a big against a blade. I'll feel
My
the
head.
pain die. Motherfucker, die!
This is so heavy.
Hell be thy name.
Oh my god, what is going on here? Nice rhythm. This is a cool rhythm.
Despite being down and out, you can't seem to quite drag my balls through glass, my jack emotions you can fucking feel it deep as a slap goes in and twist. Masochistic rituals. You call yourself a god and king, well you can call me Dropping and killing
band is breaking me.
Die, motherfucker, die! Hell be done!
Oh, the layered scream. Oh, it's so sick.
With the last token required for your journey home obtained, it is time to commence the ritual to take you between worlds.
Show us what to do.
Fuck. Ronan, your work isn't done yet. You and the Angel hold off Hell's forces while the Queen and I work.
We're going to be cutting it close.
Alright, Trinity. You know your roles. Begin.
Oh my god. I heard 1 second. 1 second of gravity. Anyway, guys, if you're just tuning in, that was track 8 of called Behemoth, and it's off of the Gloom In The Corner's newest album, Trinity. It is a concept record. I am losing it right now. I just want to tell you, I am absolutely losing it. This had the craziest, like, I guess it's rap. I don't even know. Like, the vocalist is going off. I don't know. I don't know what type of shit he is on, but I need to know what he's on, because this is nuts. Like, the fast vocals were just already nuts, and then to the added fact of adding storyline into each track, I will say that is such a cool element. I like the fact that they have this really kind of like ominous person as like their main guiding point on the record. And again, I imagine delving more into the lyricism will give me a better idea of what this story's about. But it looks like, based off of the album art, there's they're trying to climb their way out of hell, I would guess. And so, it's about getting all of these pieces to make sure that they are out of this hell-like landscape. Kind of reminds me a lot of the Doom, like the game Doom storyline, especially the more current Doom games, but I know all the Doom games are set in hell, so but yeah, this is wild. Again, the amount of depth that this band must procure, it kind of reminds me very similarly of how much thought process is put into the like Silent Planet albums. Garrett Russell is an insane vocalist, but not only that, but he's an insane lyricist, and I think that I would care to guess that their vocalist was at least inspirationally probably was influenced by Garrett's work, just because I feel like this attention to detail and conceptually putting an album together requires a lot of brain power and knowledge, I'd imagine. I am not nearly smart enough to come up with something like this, but just to incorporate it into kind of a metal album, I find it also very similarly to like The Devil Wears Prada and how they incorporate a lot of, especially with the zombie albums, the zombie EPs, I mean, as well as the space EP. Like, there's just some like level of intellect that you must possess in order to have like a really great concept record, and I feel like this band collectively has a very good job and a very good grasp of putting those together. But yeah, this one was just a dumb heavy not album. Well, the album is dumb heavy, but this song was very stupidly heavy. But I love the different elements that they keep just bringing to the table. The sort of rapped lyrics. I know there was another song on this album that has the same sort of vibe to it as well, but God, they really laid it down on this track more specifically. So, and it's appropriately named Behemoth for a reason, because man, this one is definitely a behemoth. But yeah, really enjoyed this one, much like the rest of this album I've enjoyed. But yeah, this one was quite a change up from Pandora's Box to Behemoth. So let's get it into the 9th track. I don't even know if my brain and body is going to be able to hold so much sickness into it. But we're gonna get into track number 9, which is Gravity. So let's give it a listen. Alrighty, so heavy. This is cool. I like this. Oh, I thought they were gonna hit me with it. They're gonna hit me with a breakdown. Solo, holy fuck. Nice little lead guitar action, I like it. Nice little coded vocals. I like that. That's cool. This is unreal. Unreal. All right, guys, if you're just tuning in, this is track number 9. This is called Gravity. This one was really cool. I love the melodic nature of this track. I like that there was some moments where it's very heavy, but I also appreciate the sort of softer, more methodical moments on this track comparatively to some of the other ones. I think this one is a great indicator of what the band's capable of musically. I think the vocalist does a great job of laying down the screams and having those heavy moments, but there's a really great beauty to how he carries his voice in a lot of the clean singing, and I gotta give him a lot of credit because it's just really smart, and I think some of the melodies are really articulated well. The other bands that I couldn't think of at the time, but I feel like Behemoth really reminded me of this band. They give me this sort of, and I'd be very surprised if this was not one of their influences, but I'd be very surprised if they did not mention as System of a Down being one of their influences, because it definitely has, I would argue it has a very System of a Down feel to it, just because they used to do whatever, and I think they still do whatever the fuck they want to do, but it has that sort of avant-garde feeling, and I couldn't really place the band, what band I was thinking of at the time, just because my brain was broken, and it still kind of is, but for what little pieces I could put back of my brain together, I was thinking, man, they really do have this like heavier version of System of a Down, and I feel like that is probably one of the better indicators of what this band kind of sounds like, because I do feel like they really don't have any sort of barrier to entry. They really just try to do whatever they can, and if they can fit it into a song, they're gonna definitely do it, which I appreciate. And another band I couldn't think of at the time, but now that I'm thinking about it, definitely has this sort of Alisana sort of vibe as well. I would say not in the aspect of like sound particularly, but it does have a lot of that sort of like very like dark and eerie sort of sound, and I know that Alisana has a lot of those sorts of inclusions in their music as well. I wouldn't guess as much now. Then again, I really haven't listened to very much Alisana as of currently, but I remember like OG Alisana had a lot of the piano, a lot of the sort of more darker undertones, very emo in that aspect, and I feel like this band encapsulates those sorts of sounds as well, which is very cool. But yeah, Gravity, very nice song. Again, very similarly to, as I mentioned, in Behemoth, I love the fact that the way that Loathe and Silent Planet include those sorts of like extra sort of sound tidbits at the end, like where it leads into the next song, or it gives a lot of ethereal aspects or environments to the track, and I feel like the Gloom in the Corner has taken those sorts of notes and put it into their music, where especially with the end of Gravity, which I can speak on because we just listened to it. I love the ending of it because it just has this really beautiful, like, melodic nature to it, and a lot of those bands that have more of that sort of ethereal sort of vibe, as the bands mentioned previously, Loathe and Silent Planet, they incorporate a lot of those sort of interlude sort of parts into their music, and I think that, again, another note out of the notebook for Gloom in the Corner, where they have, they continue on with the song and add those sorts of like elements to tie the rest of the album together, and I really do appreciate that because I think it is very interesting. So overall, really dug this track, but I'm most excited to get into this track, not only because the song is 5 minutes and 23 seconds long, but as well as that it features 3 different vocalists on this track, so it's going to be wild. There is one more track that is the longest track on the album. It is 8 minutes and 15 seconds, and it is the last track. So they really are just stacking the end, and I appreciate that. But let's get into track number 10, which is called Red Clouds. It features guest features from Crystal Jolena. I hope I pronunciated her name right. Elijah Witt from the band Cane Hill. And then lastly, Rachel Jefferson, she's also a solo artist as well, from what my notes say here. So very excited. Let's get into it. I'm very curious how they're going to amalgamate 3 vocalists into one track, including the Gloom in the Corner's vocalist. So let's give a listen to track 10, Red Clouds, right now.
Of surface from the wreckage,
Nice.
creating more damage. Those I loved where we grew up are now nothing but shells with broken bones. The band
I assume this is Crystal. She's got a very cool vocal, like a vocal tonality.
Where did all the love go?
The piano is super fucking cool. she's really getting up there.
Beautiful body of glass.
Nice. All right.
Love die in the silence. Red clouds bury the sky. The body lives, but the heart has died. So far, reclaiming my life, but lost so much more. The love I once had has moved on. How can I live with the fact that it's falling for another man? Oh, I've lost my way. Nobody cares. I blew out my brains.
Wow, holy shit. Rachel.
Trapped inside a bitter man who overturned your throne. I'm the last one left, and the most
What great vocals, wow. Kudos.
unknown. The choir sings, love, come back home to me.
What a wild song. The dynamics, man. Oh my god, this is so wild. What the hell?
Didn't even get to say goodbye. These violet eyes can do nothing else but cry. And the grave where you now lies filled and next to mine, the red clouds were the sky. My body lives, but my heart has died.
Guys, that was track 10, Red Clouds. I I don't even know. I don't even know what to say anymore. That one was very cool. It was cool to hear Elijah in a different way. I think he did some clean singing towards the middle of the song. Also, gotta give a shout out to Crystal for leading the song off, and then Rachel. Man, she's got some like kind of operatic kind of voice. I like the fact that their vocalist was very much included in this song as well. But I do appreciate that this one wasn't like a heavy song, if that makes sense. I think dynamically it was very heavy, but I like the fact that there wasn't really any like guitars, there wasn't any bass, there wasn't any drums. It was mostly like a orchestral sort of piece where like the piano held a lot of the important attributes of the song, as well as like the different elements that were brought into the song just felt very much left of center from what I have. Well, I don't really have a barometer on this band, but if I did, I feel like this would be very left of center for them. But I like the fact that there was just like, again, this really big crescendo to like the song itself, and I also like the fact that the end of the song featured like all of the vocalists pretty much practically at the same time, and they all kind of bled into each other, which is very neat. But yeah, this one was very different, but also very similar to some of the songs off this album. I know, like I've been mentioning a lot with the orchestral pieces and bringing those aspects into each one of the songs individually, but to actually have a song that is mostly based off of that sort of orchestral vibe and sound, it was very cool to hear that sort of full circle moment where you're like, this song is actually just an orchestral piece if you take out all of the vocalists. And that was very neat in and of itself, and I would imagine I haven't heard a band do this in a very long time, if at all. I would imagine that sort of stuff maybe more so is commonly found in albums like, you know, symphonic metal. I know incorporates a lot of those sorts of elements into their music, but God, this one was very different, and for and for a 5-minute long song, it definitely kept me intrigued throughout the entirety of it, which is, I would imagine, pretty difficult, considering this one is a little bit different from, you know, some of the other songs on this album. But I feel like by this point, you know what different is, and that's what this is. So, very interesting, very different, but still overall just a very fun and interesting track that I hope everyone has the chance to listen to. So we're gonna move on to track number 11. This one is called Nor Hell. I was gonna say Hell Hath No Fury, but Nor Hell a Fury. So let's give this one a listen. This one doesn't have a feature on it. I believe this is the last song that does not have a feature on it. So let's see where they're gonna go with this one. Should have expected that. Is he matching the temp? Oh, I can't. This band is unreal.
Thinking you're
I can't.
Equivalent exchange.
What is this band doing? I can't. Oh my god. Guys, that was track 11. This one was Nor Hello Fury. God, I can't even speak. I don't even know what to say anymore at this point. Everything this band does is just nuts. That is about as best as I can put this all together and make it, a sentence that makes sense. The fact that his vocals literally matched up with the tempo of the song, as well as the guitar playing and the drumming and the bass playing, something is unreal about this band that I can't even put my finger on. So, but yeah, this one was a very just aggressively dumb track, heavy, all the best things that you can think about in terms of a heavy band. They have definitely hit the mark on this one. And I like the fact that they included this sort of this sort of dark undertone towards the end. I don't know if they got into some sort of battle or fight, but that's what it kind of sounds like. But yeah, this one, kudos, because the sound design on this is also very good too. But yeah, I don't even know what to say anymore. This I have no idea what to say anymore. This is a great track. Go give it a listen. We're going to move it on to track 12, which is Gatekeeper. This one features Ryan Kirby of the band Fit for a King. I am very excited to listen to this one because, again, I just listened to the new Fit for a King album, and I feel like this one is also going to break me. So let's give it a listen, guys.
But why? You're gone. How are you?
You have no idea what the hell you've done, do you?
So you're the keeper hunting us. How? You died.
No.
Let me tell you how I died.
This is so cool. I feel like they're gonna put him at the end. I have a bad feeling.
Do you know what you've done, or the damage you're about to cause through the collapse of worlds? Now I can't even light my own fucking cigarettes! Do you know what you've done? Do you know what you've caused? The price will be a suicide. The danger falls as
I can't. Why? That's how my brain feels. It feels like it's on dial-up right now. Oh my god. Guys, this was track number 12, Gatekeeper, featuring Ryan Kirby of the band Fit for a King. This is off of Gloom in the Corner's newest album, Trinity, which you can buy. Links in the description. I feel like this whole time that I've been doing this, which is roughly about almost a little over an hour and a half now, if you want to just watch me sputter for about an hour plus, that's what I'm doing right now, because I legitimately have no, like, there's nothing I can say to tell you to check this band out other than to check this band out and to check this album out more specifically. And I'm going to have to go back and find and see if their other albums are, which I imagine if this is a very good album, I'd imagine the rest of their catalog is very good. But I don't understand how a band can kind of put a song like this together, or any of these songs more specifically together, because it is just wild. I absolutely loved this track. Ryan Kirby just added this phenomenal depth and anger and like just power to the end of this song. But I will say, riff wise, this was probably one of my favorites. I love the kind of like swingy sort of vibe it had to it. The chorus was super sick. But yeah, I really, really dug this as well. Much like all of the songs on this album, I've really enjoyed. But yes, this one was so fun. The addition of the kind of like, almost had like a southern kind of feel to it in the swing. But yeah, this one was very cool. Again, I like the inclusion of the storyline mixed in with the track. I like the fact that they have like the female vocalist adding in her own sort of lines to kind of counteract the vocalist from Gloom in the Corner. That was just really neat, and I think it adds to the dialogue of the entirety of the album. And wow, this is unreal. This album is unreal. So we're gonna move it into the last track, the longest song on the album, Hail to the King. This one features Joey Bad of the band Fit for an Autopsy. This is an 8-minute song. So first of all, I keep seeing a warning sign that my video may or may not be screwed, but we'll find out when this is uploaded. Hopefully I don't have to re-upload it, but if I do, I'll cut the songs out. But yeah, this one is Hail to the King, featuring Joey Bad of the band Fit for an Autopsy. Let's get into this 8-minute fucking insane song.
Messages recorded at the Postal Government Department, Section 13, impending dimension collision detected.
feel like it's gonna get heavier.
Of course, my love.
What a switch up. How? bad feeling this is gonna lead up to something stupid heavy. Oh, this build up. Oh my god, I'm not ready. I can't. Oh my god. Guys, if you made it all the way to the end, this is the last track off of Gloom in the Corner's newest album. Well, the song is called Hail to the King. The album is called Trinity. Oh, that was... Meatball, what do you think, buddy? Here. You should speak for me now. What do you think? What do we think? Is this angry? Was this heavy? You tell me. What do you think? Is this good? I know I'm holding you up by your arms. I'm sorry. Man, this one, you know what? I didn't think it was gonna. To be fair, for an 8-minute long song, I wasn't really sure if whether or not it was gonna keep my attention. However, I can say for sure that it definitely kept my attention for that whole 8 minutes. That ending was very cool. I think adding Joe into the song and just having it be just like mentally just dumb and heavy. I think they did a great job of just again including that sort of dark, ominous undertone, and I think that collectively was throughout the entire album. I will also say too, the theming of the entirety of the record was just so well antiquated to the music. I think the music was obviously the main focal point. I imagine that's probably a majority of the reason why most people will check this album out. But I also think lyricism wise, I love the correlation of, you know, incorporating different like storyline pieces into this album collectively. I think it keeps it more immersive. It's kind of very similarly to why I hold Zombie 1 in very high regards as my personal, you know, one of my favorite Devil Wears Prada albums. I think the integration of like, again, you hear the shotgun blast, you hear the zombie like noises. It's very similarly to this album. The inclusion of different characters, the way that it messes with the lyricism of the album collectively, and then also how the musicality of the songs affect the lyricism and the whole storyline of the record. I will say that this is arguably going to be one of my favorite albums of this year. I'm already just going to call it out outright because I think there is so much depth and so much talent to this album that I'd be very remiss to not have this on as one of my favorites of the year this year. Even though we are in October and almost into November, I still feel like this is going to be very, very hard to beat. And there is some really fantastic albums that came out this year, and this one just blew me away. I think both from the musicality aspect of things, their vocalist has a great grasp on lyricism as well as musicality. I think his screaming is so well antiquated to this band, but I will say the shining star of their band too is just their clean singing. I think the clean singing is very different, very nice. It has this sort of soulfulness that I feel like a lot of bands don't really have right now. I can kind of run it akin to maybe like Spencer Statello of Periphery. He kind of has that sort of vibe, as well as just like being a jack of all trades. I think that there's some things that they borrow from, like in regards to like System of a Down, where it's very like avant-garde metal kind of stuff, and I do appreciate that. And then also from the aspect of like musicality, I love the fact that they included so many different vocalists from different genres, and that they really just tried to do a very good job of making things different. And I think they absolutely smashed it out of the park, because Trinity was one album that I wasn't sure if I was gonna review, but I think looking back on it now and being live for almost like 2 hours, I can say that this album is definitely worth a listen, certainly. And I feel like you can get a lot of time and investment in regards to this record, because this is something unique, and I think that a lot of people deserve and should have the opportunity to listen to this album, because it's unlike anything I've heard this year. 100%. I will die on that hill because it's so different. But give this band a listen. Let me know what your favorites are. I don't have a favorite because it's all fucking awesome, and I think that, again, conceptually, they just knocked it out of the park. And I really don't have much else to say about this record. I feel like I was just like flubbering the entire time, and that's mostly because this album just eviscerated my soul and my mind and my body. So go give this one a listen. Go check it out. Please check the links in the description to go give Gloom in the Corner a listen. Really sick band from Australia. Yeah. Going to be doing more live stuff tomorrow, so if you are watching this, there will be some more live material. But man, this album was nuts, so go give it some love. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you for hanging out. If you like the content, make sure to subscribe, like, comment below. It means a lot. Very close to 2,100 subs. Hopefully getting to whatever number we get to before the year's over with. But I always do appreciate the support. And yeah, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for allowing me to do this. Hopefully it doesn't get blocked and I won't have to re-upload this, but if I do, I will. But thank you guys for watching. Meatball is currently scratching all of my shit over here, so big ups to him. But thank you guys for watching. Come hang out tomorrow if you're free. Love to see you there. Talk to you soon.